my name is Katie. I work at Dext. I'm a practice solutions expert at Dext. And like Ash, I used to work in practice. I started as a bookkeeper. By the time I'd left practice, I was a senior accountant. At Dext, I work in a team that supports the training of staff on our products, and I also do some pre-sales as well. So yeah, that's a bit about me.
Yeah, and my name's Ash. I'm the head of product here at Nomisma. As Katie mentioned, I used to work in practice, so I worked at a few different accounting firms. Most notably, the first accounting firm I worked at was Crunch Accounting, so they were very tech focused, and they were one of the first adopters of Dext. And they actually white label it, and it's called Snap. So yeah, my background is all in accounting, and really looking forward to seeing what Dext has to offer and how it integrates with Nomisma.
Cool. So just go through the agenda quickly. So first we're going to look at the current challenges accountants and bookkeepers face with their clients' data. Then we're going to look at the Dext solution, how it can help you in your practice. Who actually uses Dext Prepare, so sort of the use cases for that. Ash is then obviously going to take you through using Dext with Nomisma, and then I've got a few special features at the end just to kind of do a high-level overview of as well. And then finally, we'll get to answer any questions. Cool. So when we look at the current challenges many accountants and bookkeepers face, a lot of it is down to the amount of time processing data manually. Not only that, the accuracy of the data can sometimes be compromised due to a human error. Even when we use an Excel spreadsheet that our client has sent us, or we've put together one on their behalf, mistakes can happen. You know, the wrong formula in a cell or incorrect classification. So, you know, these things, they happen day to day. And then we then have to spend hours trying to kind of figure out what's actually gone wrong to actually rectify that situation. Then there's the missing paperwork. So when I worked in practice, I spent so much time chasing clients who had only sent me half their information over. And then we'd not be able to put a claim in for that VAT because, you know, that receipt wasn't there. And then there's another issue. So, you know, having one centralized place for clients to keep their receipts and invoices. Some clients are really good at storing that, but then others aren't so good at that. So that's another issue that can arise. So when we go through that process, we have a number of issues that could happen, not just throughout the year end, but through the quarter, just throughout the year. So it can be really frustrating for you, and it's also really frustrating for your clients as well. So how does Dext Prepare help to alleviate these problems? Well, Dext Prepare removes the manual work from your workflow and provides rich insights that help you stay ahead of the deadlines, have better client conversations, and enjoy extra capacity. So in the last decade alone, Dext Prepare has helped over 400,000 businesses and over 50,000 accountants and bookkeepers to improve their efficiencies by using data capture. We process over 12 million receipts per month, and that figure continues to grow as we see more accountants, bookkeepers, and businesses use our software. Incredibly, that's over 75,000 hours saved per week for everyone involved. So how does Dext Prepare do this? Well, we have market-leading accuracy. So Dext Prepare captures and processes paperwork with 99% accuracy, giving you peace of mind that, you know, what you're working with is the best quality of data. Whether it's a receipt, a train ticket, customer invoice, you know, in the majority of cases, Dext Prepare can process and extract that relevant data in a matter of minutes. It's actually amazing the speed at which the data gets processed. For example, the other day I had some expenses to put through. So I got my receipt that I'd just been given from the petrol station. I took a photo of it, and within a minute it was already there to be reviewed. So Dext Prepare saves firms up to 5.5 hours per client per month on manual data processing. When I was in practice, we used to do the books and quarterly VAT returns for a construction company. And that used to take me originally 3 days to manually process, you know, putting on the invoices manually, putting on all these receipts through our old software. When we moved over to data capture, that meant that job actually ended being half a day of data processing and then half a day to just check over the other bits and pieces. So that was a massive time saving for us. And that actually gave us more time to spend on other clients. But you could use that, that time to grow your business, offer more advice to different clients, or even just take some time back to spend with your family or your hobbies, anything you like. And then finally, Dext Prepare offers over 30 integrations with over 11,500 banks and institutions. So whatever you're ready to, to work with, Dext Prepare will work for you. We have a number of bookkeeping integrations available. So we have Xero and QuickBooks, and we also have Nomisma. So we integrate with Nomisma. So if you're looking for a solution to automate your data processing, Dext Prepare has you covered. So just going through those processing figures now. So our average time is 30 seconds. We have 34 integrations within the data capture space, meaning that we are the most widely integrated in the market. Our Trustpilot rating is 4.6 out of 5, which is absolutely phenomenal. And our uptime is 99.9%. That means we are the most trusted in our space for reliability. And then moving on to our bank statement extraction. So it's normally done within 2 hours with 98% accuracy, meaning that if you have bank statements to extract, you can rely on us. And then looking at the bigger picture now, where Dext sits in that process. So we have the data capture side covered, which means we can do a lot of that heavy lifting for you. And then you can use Nomisma for the bookkeeping or, another software if you're using that. But then also, we move into the actual compliance piece, and you can use Nomisma for that side of things as well. We do have another piece of software called Dext Precision. So Dext Precision only works with Xero and QuickBooks Online at the moment. It's basically working with the data quality in those softwares, so checking that there's not things that have been entered in multiple times. It's absolutely phenomenal how it works. But as I said, it's only working with Xero and QuickBooks Online at the moment, but we are working in the background to make our software more accessible. So keep your eyes peeled for that. So in the UK alone, we are trusted by more than 3,500 partners, and we have over 500,000 clients internationally, with 230 of those being in the UK alone. And Dext Prepare is being used by clients in over 140 countries. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pass you over to Ash, and he's going to talk you through using Dext Prepare with Nomisma. So I will just stop sharing for a moment.
Great. Thank you, Katie. I'll go ahead and share my screen. There's some very good points in there as well, and I can vouch for the speed at which it extracts data at all. So hopefully you can see my screen. If you can you just put it in the chat just to confirm that you can? Or Katie, can you see?
Yeah, I can see it.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So here's a Dext account that I've prepared earlier. You can see I've uploaded some receipts. So a Tesco's receipt where the data really isn't that great. But as you can see, the total is £21.40, and Dext has extracted the correct amount, which is fantastic. If you wanted to extract individual line items, then you can go ahead and do that as well by creating the individual items here. And then you can separate them yourself. But going back, so there's 4 items in here at the moment. They haven't got a category, and that's purely because I haven't integrated it with Nomisma yet. So I actually want to show you the process and how easy it is, and then what changes in the system. But in Nomisma, I've created this client, which many of you will be familiar with. This is a bookkeeping profile. So it's a brand new bookkeeping profile with no data in it right now. So if I go ahead into Dext, to integrate this with Nomisma, you'll need to go down to connections, select your integrations, and then you'll see Nomisma listed here. And go ahead and select connect. Once you've done that, you will then just be able to log in. Let's make sure my username is correct. Dext. There you go. So once you've done that, then you'll be presented with the option of selecting a client, and it will actually look at the client name index to try and find a match. So if I select this, you'd see a list of all of your clients, but select the one that matches to the client within the Dext account, press submit, and then it just confirms exactly what Nomisma and Dext are going to do. So Dext will have permission to view your client list, view your nominal codes, be able to publish supply bills, and be able to publish sales invoices. So I'll go ahead and select allow. And now that connection has been made. So in order for the transactions to be published from Dext into Nomisma, you just need to do a few things here. So set your default tax rates for costs, sales, and your exempt ones as well. And then at the top here, we want to publish, set the default publish to destination for costs. So yeah, we want them to go to expenses. Okay, so that's all done now. The connection has been made. So when I go into customers, you'll notice I've only got the default customer, but that's just because that's the only customer that's been created in Nomisma so far. So if I go into my Nomisma account and select sales, and then go to new customer, and save that, then I believe it takes a minute or so to come through to Dext. But if we go into our suppliers, you can see here we've got 5 or so suppliers: Hastings Bets for Pets, Southeastern, Tesco's, Tubal Steakhouse. Currently, they're not present in Nomisma because these are the supplier names that have been picked up on the receipts that have been processed. So if we go to our costs and just select into each of these individual costs, so we'll publish the one for Tesco's, for example. The categories have all been pulled through now, so we can allocate these to the different expense types from Nomisma. So we could say this is subsistence, and then double check the amount is correct. And we can then go ahead and publish this. Yep, so that there's a receipt that's now published in this demo account. But I'm going to go ahead and publish another one. Hopefully it does work this time. This time it's the Tubal Steakhouse, which is a local restaurant to me in Hastings. But gone ahead and selected subsistence. The amount is £53.83, and the tax amount has been extracted. But I could go ahead and select a VAT rate from Nomisma if I wanted to. So we connect all of the VAT rates, all of the customers, suppliers, so that everything's in two-way sync. And there was a message that just came up to say that the receipt's been published. So now it should be in my archive, as you can see. And when I go to Nomisma, we should now see an additional bill there. Yeah. So it's created the supplier for me. So when I go to my filters, I've got that brand new supplier, which is fantastic. I can go in, edit that transaction, and you'd see all of the different elements of that invoice. And you can also view the image so that you can see the original image that's been uploaded. So that's how it works on the expenditure side of things. Then you can connect your bank feed, and you can then begin allocating bank transactions, or if they're paid manually, then you can mark them as paid. But we also connect for the sales invoice side of Dext as well. So like I said earlier, if anyone does use a different system for raising their sales invoices, which I know a lot of clients may do because they have their own preferences, they may even use Salesforce because Salesforce is incredibly powerful for their business, or a CRM system of some kind. So you can connect Dext to their platform. I believe it also, Katie, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe there's some CRM systems in the Fetch connections as well.
Yes, there are. I don't have the names off the top of my head, but there definitely are.
No worries. So here we can go ahead, select the sale category, and then publish that. And then we should get a successful message. Yep, so item successfully published to Nomisma. So now when we go into the sales, we have that sales invoice that has been read by Dext. Yeah, so that's essentially the integration.
Yeah, so something that Ash just spoke about was invoice fetch. It's a really great feature to get your client supplier invoices into Dext Prepare. So you can use fetch to automatically collect your bills and invoices from supplier websites. This means that you don't have to spend any more time logging into websites, finding your documents and downloading them. Instead, Dext Prepare will just automatically check each of your authorized suppliers, and it does that once a week, and then it adds any documentation straight into your inbox. I think there's over 1,000 companies that we can connect to. I think, yeah, there's people like Uber, Vodafone, Booker, Eon, Travis Perkins, loads more. I'll just quickly show you a sort of high-level overview of how you would do that. So if I just go into my browser now, what happens is when you log in to Prepare and you want to add an invoice fetch, you can go down to your connections, and then if you go to costs, if you click on Add Connect, what happens then is it brings up this screen. So you can look at the full list, and then you could start typing one out. So I'll just use Vodafone as an example. What would happen then is you would choose the user that's going to be submitting these documents, and then you can either ask your client to connect, which is a nice option, so they don't have to kind of sit there with you. They can actually do it in their own time, and if there's any multi-factor authentication, they can do that on their side as well. Or if the client's happy, they're sat with you, you can just click connect here, and what that does is it will bring up another screen. And then what you would do is you would fill out the username, the password. You can then choose how far back you want to go. I can't remember off the top of my head how far back it does go, but I believe it's quite far back into the past. So then, yeah, you choose that date, or you can also choose entire available history as well. So it's entirely up to you. But yeah, that's how that works. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was bank statements. So with the bank statements, we have, I think it's over 500 bank feeds available globally, which is absolutely huge. And with that, you can upload your bank statements, download them into a CSV, and then push that into your accounting software. Another really nice feature of that is that we can also detect missing bank statements now. So if, for example, you've uploaded a PDF and something's gone missing, which does happen from time to time, it will actually flag it to you and say, look, part of this bank statement is missing on these dates, and you may need to go and check this out. So that's another really cool feature. One nice thing about the bank statements is you do have that flexibility, so you can either upload them manually or you can connect to a bank feed. If I just go back again into the software, so if I click on my bank, you'll see here I've got a couple set up. These ones, I think this one's been manually added in, and then this one is an integration. If we want to manually add a bank statement, we just click Add Documents, click on our bank, and then just literally drag and drop that file in, or you can select the file from your browser. If you then wanted to connect a bank feed, you would then click on Bank Feed, click Add Bank Feed again, and then follow the steps. So click Continue. This takes us then to Plaid, which is our partner. You would then follow those the steps on the process, and then that will then bring all that bank data in that you need for that client. Cool. I think there's just a couple more bits on my side to cover off. Sorry, I lost my mouse there. Which always happens. So yeah, the next one is our mobile app. So the mobile app is a really great way to collaborate with your clients. So you can use the mobile app to upload receipts, invoices, and expenses as well. It's available on Apple and Android. So yeah, it's available on both. It's completely free. You can do all kinds of wonderful things with it. Like you can send in either a single receipt. You can also do multiple receipts. And there's also a combine mode, which means you can send a document over several pages, which is really nice. This app is free to download, so all you need to do is invite your client in via email. They will then receive an email and a text message if you'd like to, add their phone number in as well. So they then receive this text link to sign up or on an email, and they can then, create their own password and start using it as soon as possible. You can also restrict the access. So if you just want them to literally upload the receipts and do nothing else, then you can do that. Or if you trust your clients to make decent decisions, then you can add like being able to add categories and things like that in as well. Unfortunately, I can't show you the mobile app today, but I do have, we have lots of videos available on the website. So yeah, you can have a look at it through there. And then finally, as I did mention before, talking about the mobile app is expenses. So if you're looking for an easy expense management solution, you can snap your expenses with Dext, with the mobile app, and then in just a few clicks, you can submit them, automatically organize them, and then create an expense report. So the Dext app analyzes and extracts all that portal information from your paperwork. Then it publishes it to the accounting software of your choice. So if you're using Nomisma for your bookkeeping, we can extract all that information you need into a CSV to then upload into Nomisma. The data is automatically sorted by tax, supplier and region. So you can sync your bank account or upload a PDF of your statement, which means that your expense management process is streamlined. It reduces manual data entry, and it allows you to track and submit your claims for your expenses really quickly and accurately. And I think one of the great things about the Dext Prepare app is that you can approve your expenses in one click. So being able to appoint a specific team member to see and approve employee expenses via the mobile. So yeah, so nothing's ever missed, and it just makes those claims just more easy and simplified. I can't show you the mobile app, unfortunately, but I can just show you quickly what it looks like in the prepare side of things. So if I just come out of that.
Whilst you're doing that, Katie, as well,
Yeah.
so you've got the ability to approve transactions. So this, I guess, would be really useful for employees to submit their expenses, and you can give the employee the Dext app to take pictures of their receipts.
Yeah, we actually use it at work, so it's not just something that we we talk about. We actually do use it. So yeah. So any
it's approvals and declining process, so that they can add notes as to why it's declined and things like that.
Yeah, and it sends an email to the approver to let them know once something's been submitted, so they can then go in and, like you said, if there is anything that they're say actually no, you haven't given us the right receipt for that, they can actually go back and say, look, this is missing, can you resubmit it? So yeah, it's a really nice process.
Something really useful for that, I think at some point it may be worth having a look at that, because where we do payroll, a lot of expenses are paid via payroll.
Yeah.
So if we could get a CSV file or something, or
yeah, that's a really good point. We could definitely do something around that at some point.
One to look into.
Yes. Maybe we can do like a nice little video or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously someone's then sent in their expenses. It then goes into this expense report, I can speak. And if we want to then look at that, we can just click on it. You'll notice it says not ready because it hasn't been, we haven't actually gone through, categorized everything properly. So we could check through that. I flagged this one because it's actually a bank statement, so it shouldn't be in there. So what we can then do is just say, look, we need to remove this. So we can remove that. And then once the person's happy with that, they could then submit that for approval. We can then put it to the assigned approver. We obviously have everyone in Dext working on this demo companies. So yeah, there's a lot of approvers there, but in an ideal world, there would be one or two. So yeah, we would just literally put that person in, submit that, and then and then they would get that email, and then they can log into their desktop and have a look at it. But yeah, having the expenses app on your phone is really handy, I think, to just kind of be able to go through all those things and yeah, not have to do everything on your desktop all the time.
Definitely.
Cool. So I think that is everything.
Yeah, so we've got some time for questions. Katie's covered a lot of content on who Dext are, what they do, and how the platform works. If anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A section now, and we'll get them all answered. But if not, Katie, do you have anything else that you wanted to add before we bring this to an end?
I don't think so. I think that's everything.
Okay. So we'll wait around for a few minutes to see if there's any questions that come in. But to any of the Nomisma users here as well, just so you know, we will be attending Accountex on the 10th and 11th of May in London at the London Excel. So if you're going to that, feel free to pop by, say hello to us. Dext will be there as well. But it's a free event, and we'd really love to see you in person if you're available, because we are actually, we've got a few announcements that we'd like to make, and we've got some product launches as well. Like a teaser for that is NomiPay. So NomiPay will be a solution where your clients will actually be able to have an e-wallet within Nomisma, and they'll be able to request payments from their clients and receive payments to this e-wallet without having, say, a traditional bank account. And the entire reconciliation process of sales invoices and marking them as paid, and the bank reconciliation for that e-wallet would be completely automated as well. So I'm really excited to get that out and allow some of you to start using it early. But that's set for release imminently, and we're doing a launch party at Accountex. So if you're around, feel free to join us. There are some questions that have come in. So Katie, one for you. Would Dext work just for bookkeeping clients? I've got some sole traders that I just do the self-assessment return once a year. Could I use Dext to convert their bank statements and receipts as well?
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, and something I didn't mention earlier is we actually have it's a product. So it's going to be able to, well, it can already deal with those smaller clients that don't need things like VAT and things like that. It's a really, really simple, easy to use solution. It's very similar to Dext Prepare. So it's all under one place. They can basically it's based on the HMRC categories rather than, say like another chart of accounts. So that's fixed, and yeah, it's really, really simple to use. Obviously with it's a delay, the reporting side of things, being able to submit to HMRC isn't there yet. But for everything else, you can download a CSV at the end of the year. You've got everything categorized, and you can then just put that into your bank. So you can put that into Nomisma's accounting software really easily. What's the other questions?
So there's one from Mahul, where he's just said, I have a client in Nomisma who uses manual sales invoices, and the invoice he does, he creates roughly 400 invoices a month. How can I do that with Dext?
You wouldn't. So if you're using manual sales invoices, yeah, we don't actually create the sales invoices within Dext. So you would have to still do that in another way, unfortunately, but you can upload them into Dext to then push into the software.
So Mahal, I think in order to answer it, would you be able to put in a Q&A, what does your client use to create the manual invoices? Are they just drafting them up on pen and paper? And then do they give you like a stack of 400 invoices every month? Or if you could just give us some more detail, I think we'd be able to give you a better answer. And like if they do what I've just said, there's a really good solution using a ScanSnap scanner that you could use, which is probably worth the investment. Okay, printed sales book. So yeah, they're stuck in a book, unfortunately. The way I would suggest doing that, and Katie, feel free to jump in as well, is actually using the Dext app to take pictures of every page of the book.
Yeah, that's actually a really good shout. It does save a lot of time. I used to do that when I worked in practice with our data capture. If anything just came through, I just click it because it can recognize it. Sometimes it will take a little bit longer to process, but ultimately it will do that, so you're not having to manually type all that up.
Yeah, and as long as they've got good handwriting, then Dext will capture the information pretty well.
Yeah,
That will save a lot of time.
You'll be surprised though what it can pick up.
Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised anymore because I have used it for like my mum has a business. So I help her with the bookkeeping every now and again. And yeah, all of the receipts, we literally just upload them all into Dext and they all flow through to Nomisma. And it saves an unbelievable amount of time. So I know how powerful it is. And yeah, it's incredibly useful. But yeah, hopefully Mahal, that makes sense. If not, then feel free to speak to our support team as well, because they can help you out of that to come up with a solution to save you some time. So there's another question. So I have one client with 4 companies. Does he need 4 separate email addresses, or how does it work, please?
I'm just asking about that one at the moment because I know that we're doing work in the background to make that not an issue at all, but I just need to clarify that. In fact, what I might have to do is ask that anonymous person to give me their email address so that I can send over the answer.
Yeah, so whoever asked that question, if you could just put your email address in the Q&A. The Q&A section's private to us, so only we can see it. So no one else will be able to see your email. That's it for the questions so far. If anyone does have any others, feel free to keep them coming. There you go. So we've got that email address. We'll get that.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Yeah, so at the moment, this is in testing to be able to have multiple accounts with the same email address. So I would imagine within the next few months, but I'll send you some more information on that anyway.
Yeah, it's a similar one, or a similar issue to what we've got in Nomisma with our bookkeeping app. Right now, a business would have to log into their own. Oh no, actually, we've got a solution for that. So we can assign multiple businesses to single business users in Nomisma. So when they log in, they can see a list of all of their logos and then access their different profile. So then they don't need like 4 different logins for their different businesses, their bookkeeping profiles.
Yeah,
the problem.
it's one of those things, isn't it? It's a historical thing with how data used to be used for websites in general. But yeah, thankfully we're working on a way now to fix that. And I know we've got quite a few partners testing it out at the moment. So yeah, it should be rolled out fairly soon.
That's good. Okay, so there's no other questions coming in right now. Joanna said thank you. So thank you very much for joining us and seeing that. Yeah, so there's only a few more minutes left. If there's no other questions, we'll just allow everyone to leave slowly. But I guess people want to hang around. I guess if there is anyone here that is a Nomisma user, I'd be interested to hear your feedback and comments, or any questions about Nomisma at all. Outside of Dext and Numisma, if you wanted to ask anything about bookkeeping, payroll, final accounts, self-assessments, CRM, If you want to ask any questions about our product roadmap, feel free to go ahead. I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has. I did notice that there was one question I did a manual response, but they just asked, could I repeat the event address and date? But essentially it's Accountex London 2023. So if anyone wants that, you can quickly Google that and you'll see the event homepage. But it's at the London Excel, and it's on the 10th and 11th of May 2023. And yeah, like I said, it's a free event. So if anyone is going, then do pop by. Oh, there's 3 more questions that have just come in. So what's the best way of getting in contact with the 2 of us? I'll share. Katie, is it okay if we share your email?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
So what is your email address, Katie? Sorry.
It's katie.dawson@dext.com.
Okay.
Very easy.
There you go. So I have a client who has a mess in Sage accounts. How can I move the data to Nomisma? So you have a few options. Depending on how long that client has been in Sage, you can either export the data that you have and import it into Nomisma. So export sales invoices, expense items, and bank transactions. Or you could do what I did previously and start from scratch. So if it's a first-year client or a second-year client where they've only got 2 accounting periods, what I decided to do was just set up a bank feed and go through and do everything from scratch using Dext. That was actually a client that was using QuickBooks previously. But yeah, to answer the question, I think it would depend on how many accounting periods. But happy to have a conversation with you on that one. If you want to get in touch with me, I'll just type my answer and give you my email address. It's just one. I've given you my email address. Do you want to talk about that one offline? And I can help you and we can discuss it if that's okay. So there's another question. So this software doesn't produce or allow you to submit accounts. Nomisma does. So Dext will allow you to collate all of the information and like the receipt data and the sales invoice data and then publish it to Nomisma. Alternatively, you can create the sales invoices and expense items in Nomisma itself, or you could use our mobile app, which has a certain level of OCR technology, but nowhere near the capabilities that Dext has. And you can publish expense items to the Nomisma platform using that. So if I go to the dashboard here, we do have this pen and receipt section. You'd be able to upload receipts, publish them in the Nomisma platform. But like I said, it's not as fast as Dext. Once these items have been published to Nomisma, then you can go to the final accounts module and load these accounts, and all of the items that have been published to Bookkeeping will automatically be pulled through to the accounts. So if I just scroll down here, you can see a turnover £10,000. That's the sales invoice that I entered. And you can drill down into that to see the sales invoice in the platform. And you can also do the same for expenses. So if I go on to other charges and select the £75, so we've got our subsistence there. So the Tubal Steakhouse and the Tesco's supplier bill. And if we select the PDF, you'd be able to see the pictures of those as well. Yeah, so when you're doing your comparative analysis, you can drill down on the numbers, see the receipts, make any adjustments if you needed to as well. But then you can also submit the accounts to Companies House and HMRC. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. There aren't any more, but there are still 17 people in the webinar, which is nice to see. I'll hang around for a few more minutes to see if there are any others. But yeah, Katie, I don't know. Do you have anywhere you need to get to, or?
I do actually have another meeting very soon, but yeah, thank you so much everyone for joining us today, and thank you for inviting me, Ash.
Bear with me, that you've just had one more question.
Oh, one more
Sorry.
question. Okay, no, that's fine.
Is Dext Prepare compatible with Zoho books?
A good question. I will find out.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Yes, so Zapier. So Dext Prepare connects with Zapier, which I believe then can connect. Yeah, it connects via API to Zoho Books, apparently. So yes, it does.
Yeah, we at Nomisma, we used to use that way of connecting to Dext. So yeah, the only problem with that is you would need an additional Zapier subscription. But yeah, it works well. Okay, well, there's no more questions. So at this point, we'll bring it to an end. If anyone does have any others, feel free to send us an email or get in touch in some way, shape, or form. But we'll send out a recording of this webinar as well so that you can all have a copy of it. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining, and speak to you all soon.
Cheers. Bye.